for me, the coffee should always be clean and have some kind of character. And I'm just going to show you a shrub that I found in Espirito Santo on this trip. It's actually a Catimor tree, and Catimor is a mix of, I think, Catuai and Hybrido de Timor. Hybrido de Timor being mixed Arabica and Robusta. So this has definite Robusta genes in it. The beans were quite oblong, and the reason why I found this is because we were blind cupping. And out of the 27 coffees we cupped on the day, this was the only one that was really standing out as floral, sweet, had a really intense sort of candy fruit flavor to it. And I asked what it was, and they said Catimor. You know, and that was the only variety or cultivar that was not the classic Catuai Bourbon or Caturra that they grow in a lot in Espirito Santo. So I think there is huge potential in Brazilian coffee. You just need to figure out the formula for it. We're going to taste this coffee later, actually. It's a sample roast, but we're going to taste it.
What I found in this region, and that region made me feel very happy as a roaster for two reasons. Because of the profile, the taste profile of the region is very different from the rest, in my opinion. Even being the other ones being different one from another. But this one is the high acidity, compared to what Brazil can get, is distinctive. And it's cleaner. Of course, their methods, the process, because it's humid, the naturals, they don't work there, so they have to wash the coffees or pulp naturals and so on. So, but they are more fruity, they're more floral, they're cleaner there, basically. And it's amazing. And the average temperature is lower in that region. So the maturation is completely different from any other place. Not any, but most other places in Brazil. So right now, there are green coffees in the trees, still, for some of my suppliers. I think you're still harvesting?
Yeah,
30% green.
Yeah. So for me, as a only Brazil's roaster, it's good news. So I can have
fresher coffee
all over the year,
Let's move to the next one. Why are Brazilian coffee so boring? Because that's what people say and that's what we hear, right?
Yeah.
So let's just show a picture why they are boring. Because they're grown in farms like this.
Because that's also true.
Yes.
But don't be a boring roaster.
But of course, Brazil is not only this. You have Enrique, which you're going to listen to afterwards. He's doing a biodynamic farm. I wouldn't call him a small producer, but compared to this, he's a small producer. We have the even smaller producers that are, have 1, 2, 3 hectares. There's only the family working there. And of course, you are able to produce very different qualities on any farm. Some of the big producers can produce really good quality. And a good example of that is like Tatara and Ipanema. They have the facilities to do it. But the general idea of Brazilian coffee is that it's a blender, so that's what, in my experience, most of the roasters, including all you guys, you're buying Brazils to use as a cheap coffee to make more profit on blends, so you can buy more expensive coffee and sell them for, that you're not making much money on. And that's how it's been treated in my experience for many, many years.
Right.
Here's another photo of, mass production, green coffee with yellow coffee. I'm not saying that we're buying these kind of coffees, but if you compare, let's say you compare a specialty Brazil coffee in Norway. We did this spring. We cut 8 different coffees. One was Cup of Excellence coffee, one was from a big coffee chain, one was from the supermarkets, which is basically 90% Brazil coffee in the blend, and then one is from a really well-known specialty roaster. And the supermarket coffee did not, outperform any of them, but it wasn't worse either. That's because the Brazilian coffees in Norway are pretty high standard. So it's really hard for the consumer to understand why they should pay 100 times more for a specialty Brazil when it tastes the same as in the supermarkets.
Right.
So, you're supposed to ask me this question.
Yes, because he told me last year, I took him to Espirito Santo and he saw the region. And this year, he went there, we met there again, and he said, this is the last chance I give Brazil.
Yeah.
And so why is that?
The reason being, I had been buying from different farmers and areas and suppliers, and I saw an increasing price, and I don't have problem paying a higher price. We'll cover that a little bit later, but I didn't think the quality was fair for the price. There was a lot of Quakers in the coffee. The coffees were, tasting pulpy and nutty, and they didn't roast well. A lot of issues. And I went to Espirito Santo last year with you, and there was a lot of coffees there, but nobody sent me samples. They promised to send me samples, exporters and stuff. I never received the sample. And they wanted to sell, I wanted to buy, but the interaction just didn't happen. So that's why, like this year, okay, this is the last chance for Brazil. And I really want to go to Brazil as well, because I love to eat food in Sao Paulo. It's fantastic. So I have to find an excuse to go.
Yeah.
So, but the coffees in Espirito Santos is really good, and I really want them. So that's why I'm giving it a last chance to see if we can actually get them out this year. And it looks like we're going to do it.
Yeah, I'm going to be, how do you say that in English? How do you say that, ficar no pé do Pedro?
Sorry?
Ficar no pé do Pedro, da Pronova.
That's a challenge.
Yeah. I mean, ficar no pé do Pedro ou falar isso em inglês? Okay. So I'm gonna make sure that he works. I mean, Pedro, the guy from the Pronova place, make sure that I'm gonna try to make all my best to make that work. Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to be okay.
Because I really, when in 2003, I drove by Espírito Santo. I was going from Rio de Janeiro to to one of my first suppliers and a producer that I've known for a long time in Minas, Matas de Minas. And then we drove by Pronova, that cooperative in Espírito Santo in 2003. And there was this guy there doing, trying to talk about quality in the region. And he was doing a great job. He actually did a great job. We're here now talking about Espírito Santo, right? And I cupped the coffees in 2003, and I never forgot them. And by then, I said, this is going to be the future of Brazil, profile-wise, because this is going to be able to get Brazil on a, not that, okay, it's a Brazil kind of place. Yeah. So, and I still believe that when I opened my roastery, I put out the word, like, I need Espírito Santo coffees, somebody, and then I got samples, and I loved the samples, and I went to meet the producers, because that's what I do. I never buy coffees from producers I don't know, especially because I can easily do that. So, and then it always started, and I've been working with them for 3-4 years now, yeah.
Was it easy to get the coffees out, or did you see any problems when you started there?
I saw some challenge, because I went there. First of all, they were used to getting, the first farm I went, the guy was picking coffee barefoot because it's so slippery, yeah, and hilly that he can't wear any shoes. So it's only the family harvesting. This region is full of small families. It's the second, I guess, Robusta producer in the world, right? Still?
Yeah. Second largest Robusta producer in the world.
Right. Yeah, but they are Arabicas. They're amazing, and they're produced by small families, most of them. So there are many small families producing Arabicas. And they're giving up because they're not being paid, and it's too expensive to produce coffee like this in Brazil. Our costs are very high, and they're giving up. So this guy, when I got to his farm, said, look, I wanna meet you because your coffee is amazing, and I bought your coffee, and I need to talk to you. And he said, and next year I want your coffee again, so let's talk. And then he said, no, last year there won't be any coffee, because I'm gonna cut and plant eucalyptus because I can't make it with, I'm not able to make a living anymore. And I said, but your coffee is amazing. Oh my God, your coffee is amazing. How much did you get? And it was at that time $170 per bag. Nobody can make a living, not that region, receiving that. So I told him, look, please trust me. I know you don't know me, you have never seen me, but I can pay. I don't give up. Give me 1 year. Give me one chance. 1 year, and I pay. I can write a contract. We go to whatever contract place you want. I pay 4 times what you got. No matter the beverage, I don't want to cup your coffee to pay that. I'm already giving you that. He looked at me like, this is someone you have to run away from, right? But of course I had to, and then I had to come back to his farm 4 times more that year, so he could trust me and see that I was serious, I was for real. And then his coffee cupped even better next year. And he got $600 per bag, yeah.
Nice. So let's get into why Espirito Santo is unique. And for those of you who don't know, it's the little, oh, that's a nice sound. The yellow state. So it's a very, very small state in Brazil. But it's I think it's the second largest producer of coffee in Brazil as well, as a state. And it's the second largest producer of Robusta in the world.
Around 15 million bags.
Yeah.
10 million Robusta, 4 million Arabica.
10 million Robusta, 4 million Arabica. Wow. So there's a lot of coffee there for sure. Here's the whole state. Where we were going is, I think, the area here. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pedra Azul being one of the iconic sort of touristy places where you can go and ride horses, and it's like ecotourism. But they have also amazing coffees. One of the things that I sort of immediately saw when I was there, and that Isabella was talking to me about before we went on the trip, was that it looks like Central America there. It looks very different from any other place I've been in Brazil, at least. You'll see a lot of rocks, a lot of mountains, and a lot of hills, and it's always green, and there's a lot of agriculture, like fruits, strawberries, a lot of eucalyptus. So it's a really, really, really beautiful area. Here being another part of it.
Yeah. Even the behavior of the people there is different.
Yeah, it's mostly Italians and German.
Especially that place is mostly Italian, but it's a Italian-German colonization, so they work a lot, they plant different things, it's very fertile, it's rich.
Here's another place that I went to, just 30-minute drive on the opposite side, and it was completely different climate. They were harvesting all their coffees between August and September, very concentrated harvest, whereas farmers like Enrique is picking probably from June until December. And April to
Really?
December. And you told me it took about a week to pick 1 bag of high quality coffee or something, sometimes, yeah. So it's very, very different from place to place in this area. This was actually the valley where they had the Catimor that I found. It was very interesting. Just to give you a picture of what I see as the rest of the Brazil, this is Minas, very hilly, looks like Tuscany, and flat, and no more trees, just coffee. So you talked about the people.
Yeah, this is actually this is Genildo, the guy I was talking about.
You're gonna copy his coffees?
Yeah,
today?
there are some coffees by his. Mhm.
One of the interesting things I think is you go to a bigger farm. We went to an organic farm. A lady, it was 30 hectares or something, I don't remember, but and it was 30 hectares with coffee, and she was only producing on 2 hectares because there's no pickers